If someone told you that some of the most popular cars on the road today could lose almost all of their value by 2026, most people would laugh until they see the data. Because right now, the auto market is entering one of the most unpredictable phases we've ever witnessed. Prices are collapsing in some segments, skyrocketing in others, electric vehicle demand is stumbling, used inventories are piling up, leases are ending at the same time, manufacturers are cutting prices in ways we haven't seen in over a decade, and all of it is creating a perfect storm where certain cars you see every day might become nearly worthless in the next 18 to 24 months. Not because they're bad cars, but because the industry has shifted so fast that they simply can't keep up with what's coming. So today we're breaking down the 10 cars that experts, dealerships, auction data, and real-world resale trends are all pointing to as the models that will get completely crushed. Not a small drop, not a normal depreciation curve, but a collapse so fast that owners won't be able to believe how little their cars are worth by 2026. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which cars to avoid, why all this is happening, and which models you should buy instead if you actually want to protect your money. Right now, the most dangerous category in the entire auto market is first-generation mass-market electric vehicles. Not the new ones, not the premium ones, the early-cycle EVs that were sold in huge numbers between 2017 and 2022. These cars are being hit by a double impact. Battery degradation combined with massive price cuts from Tesla, Ford, and even Hyundai, and the first model that's collapsing harder than almost anything else is the Nissan Leaf. A car that used to be considered the Toyota Corolla of EVs is now one of the fastest depreciating vehicles in the United States. Early 40 kilowatt-hour batteries are wearing down fast, charging speeds are outdated, and with new EVs offering triple the range for barely more money, the Leaf is being pushed out of the market. At auctions, some Leafs are selling for shockingly low numbers. It's one of the clearest examples of a car that will be nearly worthless by 2026. Then comes a model almost nobody expected, the Chevy Bolt EV and Bolt EUV. They were loved by many owners, affordable, good range, decent performance. But the moment GM announced the entire Bolt lineup was being discontinued, and after the massive battery recall, used values started falling like a rock. Combine that with the shift toward Ultium-based EVs and more powerful charging systems, and suddenly the Bolt looks outdated. By 2026, it will face the same fate as the Chevy Volt, a huge fan favorite that ends up worth pennies. But it's not just EVs. Gasoline cars are collapsing too, especially models that manufacturers are abandoning or replacing with newer tech. A perfect example is the Dodge Challenger V6 and base V8 models. The moment Dodge announced the end of the Hemi era, values of high-end special editions went up, but the base models, they started free-falling. The used market is flooded with them, rental fleets are unloading them, and without the collectible factor the Hellcat models have, the standard Challengers are expected to lose value at an aggressive rate through 2026. The same thing is happening with the Charger. When everyone wants the high-end trims, the regular ones collapse. Another car about to get crushed is the Ford EcoSport. Ford already discontinued it, and its reputation for reliability issues, poor driving experience, and cramped interior has made it one of the most unwanted subcompact SUVs in the US. Used values are falling faster than almost any SUV in its class. Once a manufacturer stops supporting a model actively, the market reacts instantly. And by 2026, the EcoSport will be one of the cheapest SUVs on the used market, and not in a good way. A similar collapse is happening with the Jeep Compass and Jeep Renegade. Both models are suffering from quality issues, high maintenance complaints, and very weak consumer demand. Jeep's new focus on electrification and premium trims means these budget Jeep models are being left behind. Dealers are already struggling to move them. The resale dealer is brutal. These two could easily reach the bottom of the pricing chart by 2026, making them some of the worst financial decisions buyers can make today. But the biggest shock on this list isn't a cheap SUV or a discontinued EV, it's a luxury model, the BMW 7 Series. Not because it's a bad car, it's an amazing car. But the luxury sedan market is collapsing faster than any other segment. Demand is shifting hard towards SUVs. Fleet sales are shrinking. And the worst part, BMW's own rapid redesigns are tanking the older models. Every time they release a new generation, the previous one plummets overnight. Auction data shows that high-end sedans depreciate faster than supercars in some cases. And with hybrids and electric flagships taking over BMW's top end, the last Gen 7 series will be worth shockingly little by 2026. This is one of the biggest hidden financial traps in the used car market right now. But now we get into the models that are collapsing because of one thing: oversupply. The Toyota CHR is a great example. Toyota discontinued it in the US quietly, shifting their strategy to the Corolla Cross Hybrid and the Prius Prime. That means one thing: used CHR values will fall for years. When a manufacturer stops pushing a model, resale dies. It's the same reason the Avalon dropped like a stone after discontinuation, and the CHR is next.
Then there's the Hyundai Ioniq Electric, not the Ioniq Hybrid, not the Ioniq 5 or Ioniq 6, the original small hatchback EV. It was discontinued globally. It has limited range, charging speed is outdated, and now with new Hyundai EVs being significantly more advanced, this early-gen EV will crash in value. It's already happening. Another car that will be worth almost nothing by 2026 is the Mitsubishi Mirage. For years, it held value because it was cheap, fuel-efficient, and simple, but now that used prices are finally normalizing, nobody wants a 3-cylinder economy car with rental fleet vibes. The Mirage is being phased out in multiple markets, and with no replacement planned, its value is expected to collapse almost completely. Some Mirages at wholesale auctions are already selling for prices lower than some motorcycles. 2 more models are crashing for the same reason. Manufacturers killed them without strong successors: the Chevrolet Malibu and the Volkswagen Passat. Sedans are dying, and these 2 were discontinued with little noise. Fleet buyers moved on, private buyers moved to SUVs, and with 0 new versions coming, the used ones have no future value direction. By 2026, many of these will be selling for extremely low prices simply because there's too much supply and too little demand. But here's the part almost nobody talks about: why all this is happening at the same time. Why do so many cars collapse in value at once? Why does 2026 specifically matter? There are 3 major forces hitting the auto market together. The first is the end of the pandemic-era inflated car pricing bubble. During 2020 to 2022, used cars became overpriced. Now the bubble's popping. Prices are correcting. Some models fall a little. Some fall catastrophically. The second force is a wave of leasing returns hitting the market between now and 2026. Hundreds of thousands of leased cars are returning at the same time, crushing value for cars that already had weak demand. And the third force is the EV shift, not toward full electric, but toward efficient hybrid plus electric combinations. Manufacturers are dumping older models, cutting EV prices, discontinuing gasoline variants, and restructuring their lineups. That means older versions collapse in resale value because their replacement tech is so much better. And when you mix all 3 together, you get the exact perfect storm we're experiencing now. Cars that used to hold value are collapsing. Cars that were considered low risk are becoming financial traps. And cars that owners believed would stay relevant are now outdated quicker than ever before. But here's the twist: not all cars are collapsing. In fact, some categories are actually rising or stabilizing. But the models we covered today, these are the ones the data shows are most at risk of becoming nearly worthless by 2026. If you buy them now, you're essentially throwing money away. If you already own one, the smartest move might be to sell while there's still demand, because in a year or 2, that demand may completely disappear. And here's the part that might surprise you: this crash isn't entirely bad. For buyers, this could be one of the best times in the next decade to pick up extremely cheap cars, but only if you understand which ones will still be reliable long-term and which ones will be money pits. That's why knowing which models are collapsing matters, because it protects you financially and helps you make smarter decisions. And as the auto industry continues shifting faster than ever before, one thing is clear: the winners of the next decade will be the models that adapt. Hybrids, efficient designs, reliable engineering, and smart tech. The losers will be the outdated early EVs, discontinued sedans, and the fleet-heavy models that manufacturers abandoned. The market is already deciding, and by 2026, these 10 cars will be the biggest casualties of this new era.